Hello, welcome back to the Your Everyday Strength podcast. My name is Josh Sternberg, and if you're just joining us here for the very first time, welcome. Thank you very much for being here. If you are returning, which is probably like all 30 of you, thanks for being here. Shout out, Mum. Appreciate you. Today's episode, I normally would make a joke and say, oh, you can see who we've got a guest, but then I realized that 90% of people listen on Spotify and will not see who the guest is at all. But we do have a guest with us today, and I'm going to allow her to fully introduce herself. She's very excited. She's done quite a lot of podcasts before, but for some reason is a little bit nervous. So let's put her on the spot a little bit there. Riff, let's go.
Hello, my name is Keira.
Share a fun fact with the class.
A fun fact, that is like the worst thing that you can say to somebody. You know when it like starts going around and it's like, and now everyone's going to share a fun fact. That is the most high peak stress inducing thing that can ever happen.
Fucking oath it is.
Somebody asks for a specific fact about a random fact. You cannot think of one.
No.
So and you're like, I'm the least boring person I've ever met in my life.
Where's a fun fact?
A fun fact. Nah, I don't have any.
Okay, perfect. Well, just tell us who you are. Give us a bit of a rundown.
So I work for a company called Forward Moves. I don't know. Is it the first thing that people normally explain is like what they do for a job?
Hey, you're talking. You run it however you want.
Which is actually how you and I met, was through our podcast.
Okay. Just trying to put her on Do Not Disturb. It's fine. You keep going. You just keep talking. Okay. Normally I had it on my phone, but now we're filming on my phone, so it's not really working.
So yes, work at Forward Moves. We're a creative and digital agency for personal trainers and online coaches. You knew my boss, Ash, before you knew me, and then you came on the podcast, and then we met. So yeah, we also have the Forward Moves podcast, where we talk to just people in the industry. Yeah.
But who are you?
Who am I?
Yes.
I am.
Let's go.
I'm like a short little biography.
Biography, right? Autobiography.
Okay, I am the youngest of 3 daughters, so only have 2 sisters. We're like a big girl family. There's like no boys in our family. It's very rare.
Lucky dad.
Yeah. Do you know though, he actually wanted 3 girls before he had any kids, and then he got 3 girls. So he was not disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
Mm-hmm. I actually can't even see him having any sons now because I'm like, I don't think you'd know what to do.
Are any of you like good with cars?
No.
Oh, never mind then.
No, like we called Dad up and we're like, Dad, why is there a genie lamp on my dashboard?
Perfect. Yep, that's oil.
The other one is the witch's cauldron. People usually love our like analogies of the images on the car because it literally looks like a witch's cauldron. The one that's like bubbly, it's like fire underneath it. It means like tire pressure's low.
Oh yeah, mine's constantly on. Came around a corner one day too fast and fucking the sensors busted and I got no idea how to fix it, so it's just constantly on.
Love that. That would actually kill me. But yeah, so I don't know what else to say. I recently did my Cert 4 in fitness, which I did my Cert 3 in year 12, and then I just never did my Cert 4, didn't do anything. Oh, I did do a little bit with my Cert 3. People very much know me as like, I've had a lot of jobs and I've done like a few certificates. So like I had to write down a notes list of like where all the places I worked at. And then also like certificates I've like either started and then not finished or, but not to my own fault, like went into liquidation. So like didn't finish it. Cool. So I did kind of use my Cert 3 because I got mat work Pilates certified and then was doing mat work like classes. Yeah, I've worked in many different fields, but met lots of different people. And that's probably like a big thing of why I really love the podcast and why like I love talking to people because I've learned how to talk to a lot of people. And it's why like now I'm in like a managerial role. I think I work quite well in as well because I know how people work.
Let's backtrack. Let's elaborate. Because you touched on there that you've like had a lot of different jobs, you've had a lot of different certs, you've done this, you've done that. So tell us that.
Okay.
What have you done? What have you Because obviously, like, I know what you do. I know what
Mhm.
you've done. I know where you've gotten to, and we're obviously going to touch on it within the potty, with, like, your more recent promotion and things like that, and what you kind of do and how you got to that position. But give the people a bit of an insight, because I know when you and me spoke on your podcast, I probably gave too much of a synopsis of everything. I just fucking gave you everything. But just like the steps, because a lot of people will always see, and I did post on this the other day, and I spoke about it before on the podcast, but a lot of people see the end result, but they don't really understand what it takes to get there. And
Yeah.
I was listening to Chris Williamson's podcast, Modern Wisdom, the other week with his latest episode with Matthew McConaughey. And one of the things that we're talking about is like model the rise, not the result. Too many people post the result of what they've achieved,
And
but
not how
nobody
much.
knows how the fuck you've gotten there, right?
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, oh, well, if you look at it and you're like, you're on a weight loss journey, and you're like, I want to be 60 kilos, I'm currently 100. That's how the fuck do you get there? But if it's like, oh, well, I'm 100 kilos, I'll go to 95 to 90. It's like the little steps in place that actually get you there. That's the rise. That's how you got to that position to get to the end result. 100 to 60 is a very big drop, but people get the idea. So, like, give people a little bit of an idea about like how all of these things have tied in to actually allow you to be to where you are today.
Yeah. So essentially, I never really knew what I wanted to do, which a lot of people don't. Like, how are you supposed to pick what you're meant to do for the rest of your life when you're in school? And they're like, okay, pick a degree, like, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I can't even vote, but yeah, sure, I'll pick what I want to do for the rest of my life. So I started out year 11 in like OP subjects, and then it's so weird because like I was really good in school and I was really good at learning, and then something happened like end of high school. I like struggled to learn. It was really weird. Maybe that's like the onset of
We'll touch on that.
ADHD, but whatever. That's a later thing. And then started like dropping OP subjects to go to like lower subjects. Felt a little bit shit about it at the time, but then that's why I did a cert, because I was like, okay, well, like I may as well have something at the end of year 12. And did that. Like all my friends pretty much did OP, but also I loved that I was in year 12. All of my friends were so stressed, like so stressed out. And I was like, oh, this is not bad at all. Like easily get through this kind of thing. But what actually shocked me though, like year 12, first term of maths, and it was like pre-voc maths. Like it's like the lowest of low maths.
Yes.
I open up the workbook that you get for the year pretty much, and it's like perimeter. And I was like, oh wow. I was like, well, this is easy. But then the shocking part was that people were next to me being like, wait, which one's perimeter? And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, well, at least I'm the top of my class here.
Yeah, I mean, it works.
It works, but it's fine. But anyway, yeah, didn't really know what I wanted to do. Left school, pretty much worked in retail, different places. I really only ever stayed somewhere for like a year or so at a time, because I would get bored. I would get so bored out of my brain because I would learn everything. Like I hate being the person that like, if you ask me a question and I don't know the answer or I don't know how something works, I never want to be asked the question again and not know the answer to it. Like I hate it if it's like, oh, well, like that you seem stupid or whatever it might be. But like, I don't know how people don't care about that. Like if you were to keep coming back and ask someone the same question, they're like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know how you don't care about not wanting to know the answer to that. So I would essentially learn more than the people that were there before me at any job. And then they would be asking me questions. I'm like, how do you not know the answer to that? Anyway, and then I'd get really bored and be like, okay, what next? Pretty much went through a few retail jobs, studied massage at one point, worked in dental, worked at a pool shop, worked at like a dental implant company. I worked at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. That was pretty cool.
That would have been sick.
I got to, for Post Malone, I got to be on water duty for the mosh. So I was walking between the stage and the mosh pit.
Oh, yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
Just handing out water.
Just handing out free water. Yeah. So that was a pretty cool little time. And then like on your little break, you can just go in and watch whatever's on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've worked across the board in like all aspects. I've worked in hospitality, everywhere. Kind of just not really knowing what I wanted to do. And then I went overseas for 2 months with an ex-partner. Like, we both left our jobs, went overseas, came back, and it was like, okay, like, what do I actually want to do? Got a job in a gym, and just started working there. And then was just doing like the front desk. And then I sort of worked up to like a managerial position. And then I was working like across the cafe, reception, like managing kind of thing. And then COVID hit. And then we were still able to stay open because we had a kitchen connected. So the guy who owned that gym started like a food delivery business. So I managed to stay in work through the whole time, got access to the gym all throughout COVID, which was great.
Sick.
I was doing a prep at the time as well.
Yep.
My first comp prep for bodybuilding. And then worked through that. And then kind of out the other side of it, did my comp, did my first bodybuilding show. Wasn't probably ready for it as I should have been, but it was still good to do. Day after my comp, during this time, I also did a course and learned how to do lashes. So I was doing like, right? So random.
Sick.
I've literally been in almost every industry, beauty, tick. So I was doing that on the side of also working in the gym. Competed day after. I worked for this guy for like 2.5 years. Day after my comp, got an email, you're no longer required. You have no more shifts at the gym.
Okay.
Out of nowhere. No other staff knew. I literally walked into the gym the next day to just like train, and everyone was like, what happened? Like, why aren't you here today? And like, kind of everyone was shocked. And then they even said to me, they were like, yeah, I reckon he didn't tell anyone because he didn't want anyone to talk him out of it. And then so even the funniest bit is like, so cowardly, one, to work for someone for 2.5 years, pretty much help him stay afloat during COVID. Like, I was one of like 3 staff that were on. And then I walked out, like, he didn't say anything to me. I walked to the front, saw him like in his office. He went to walk out, saw me, turned around and went back into his office and like shut his door.
I love that.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I was like,
how to be a manager 101.
What a weasel.
Yeah.
The owner. Like, the owner.
It's even worse.
So much worse. Anyway, so kind of from then I was like, okay, like, what do I do from here? This is a chance. Like, pretty much starting fresh. I still had my own like lashes that I was doing on the side. Obviously it wasn't making like heaps of money, but at least I had like something coming in. Yeah. And then I was kind of just like searching online, like jobs, different ideas to do, like whatever it might be. And then started being like, oh, maybe something in socials. Like, I wonder if there's something online that I can do, work from home, like alongside my lashes and whatever. And then I was like, social media management, like, don't really want to be under like content creation and stuff like that, like, not for me. And then I came across virtual assistant. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then found this like 6-week course that you could do to like run your own virtual admin company, like business. And so started the course. And then a couple weeks into it, my friend Beck and I were just like going for a walk, and I was like, oh, I started this like random course to do a VA, like little thing. And she was like, oh, that's so weird. I actually just inquired with the virtual admin company who's like for personal trainers and coaches. And I was like, oh, interesting. Turns out it was MA at the time. Sent her a DM just on Instagram, and I was like, hey, like, this is me. This is who I am. I'm starting to do this course, really interested about the field and your business and blah, 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 all this stuff. And then Ash sent me a reply, and she was just like, hey, like, we're not really looking for anyone at the moment, but like, I can keep your details, like send through a resume, blah, blah, blah. Like, maybe we'll get in touch after you finish this like course thing that you're doing. And I was like, cool, okay. And then literally like not even a week later, she messaged me and she was like, hey, we actually are growing quite rapidly. Like, do you want to have an interview? I was like, okay. So yeah, and then had an interview, and she was like, cool, when you finish your course, we'll get you on board and you can like finish that and then come on board. And I was like, okay. literally not even a week after that, she was like, can you do some contracting work? Like even before the interview, like kind of thing, or like whatever, before the course had even finished. I was like, okay, I have no fucking idea what I'm doing, but sure. And she was like, that's okay. We don't either. Like she was like, we're figuring it out as we go anyway.
Perfect.
I was like, okay. And then, it kind of just like snowballed from there. But like, it's about to be my 4 years at Forward Moves, which was MA. And I was looking back through the emails that got me let go. And I was like, man, at the time, it's one of those things that you're like shocking, like earth shattering, like what the fuck do I do from here kind of thing. But I was reading back at those emails and I was like, man, thank God that happened. Like I would have been like stuck. I probably would have been like half-assing like everything. And then my role was just like changed since then. But it was like so weird and like funny looking back at the emails because I was like, what a weasel. But
he is a weasel. Shout out if you're listening to this podcast. Probably not, but anyways.
You might. I'm like socially connected to some of the people I work to that like still work there. So
you should listen to the podcast then. Thanks. But within that, right? So that paints a better picture for people to get a bit of an idea about where you're at. And we'll go a little bit deeper into like what you're actually doing with Forward Moves and stuff now. Because I remember first reaching out to MA. It was MA or EMA? MA
is literally the letters MA.
I love that.
And no one could say it.
Yep.
EMA.
Well, that's what I always thought it was.
Yeah.
And I remember reaching out when it was just Ash. I think she was at her mum's spare bedroom doing stuff or something.
MA is A for Ash and M for Michelle, her mum.
Perfect.
MA.
I love that. That's amazing. There you go. I fucking didn't know that.
Yeah.
And then watching that like progression over the years and things like that, and started to see the team grow from just her. And then I remember, I think she had a spare bedroom and it was like 2 people were set up. And then it went to like 3, and then all of a sudden that outgrew, and it was like the next thing, and then it was like the next one. And I think that was one of the biggest things when I went back out on my own at the back end of like last year, 2024. And when I was looking for somebody to help me, because I didn't really know what the fuck I was doing, it was like a lot of deficits that I could see within the things that I needed to be doing. I was like, well, I've watched this sort of journey with Ash like progress to now what seems to be quite a thriving large company and all that sort of stuff. And that's why I wanted you to elaborate more on your story, because it's like people will see the result. It's like, cool, you can tell them I'm this role, and it's like, what the fuck does that mean? It's like, cool, you're a manager. Like, sick. You could go find a manager at McDonald's.
Yeah.
In people's minds, they don't differentiate between like what that means or what it actually represents or anything like that. And for me, it was like, oh, I watched Ash's journey through the whole thing, and I was like, well, she just knows what she's doing. I'll go work here and like work with her. And then obviously when we met and things like that through there as well. Tell us a little bit about, let's go the last like 12 to 18 months, because for you, it's like been a pretty fucking massive bit of growth. Give us an insight into like how your role has changed within the progression of the company and things like that, and sort of where you're at now versus where you started within there.
Yeah. So I would say like almost in a personal way. So I started with MA, and then probably the biggest change that happened personally was broke up with the previous partner. And then my personal growth since then was like far better than any other like years that I've had. So then like going into being on my own and like becoming me again was astronomical in like the growth that I've had as a human. And then that I think allowed me to become better in my work and professional side, because like I was no longer like worried about what somebody else was doing or how they were or whatever. And then them being in my professional development, I'd always had like an interest in the fitness world. Obviously, I did my Cert 3 like years before that. Sadly, not
many years, only a couple.
I was going to like math it in my head, and I was like, I think it's like 12 years ago.
You said it.
So yeah, and then when this kind of all came about, yeah, it was just like super interesting to me that I was like, oh shit, like you can actually combine things together and enjoy like doing something in that world, but not be a coach. Because I was like, I don't want to be a coach. Like that's not what I want to do, but I want to be in this space and I don't know how other than being in the gym kind of thing. But yeah, so started working with Forward Moves. We'll just call it Forward Moves because we all
Makes it
hate
easier
the
now.
old name. It's like the word that cannot be named. So yeah, and then it was one of those things that like when I started there, I was like, this is a startup business. Like if I can get in to a startup business from the get-go and then just grow with the business, then I'll be like an OG. Like that was the plan from the get-go when I had that interviewed, and I was like, yep, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be like one of the number one employees. Like I'm going to watch it grow, but not have to own the business.
Yeah.
I knew that I didn't want to be a business owner. Just like the stress, the extra stress that you don't have to deal with. I was like, I want to do my job. I want to do it well and I want to get paid, but I don't want to have to work out my own taxes. Yeah.
Yep, fair, very fair.
And I was like, I know that I'm not going to make as much as the person who owns the business.
Well,
but like
sometimes,
well, you can, I guess, almost get looked after sometimes better. I know that like for a fact that Ashley said like she didn't pay herself for the first year or two or whatever it was, and she was paying her staff. So yeah, and then still one of the OG employees. We've had like quite a few people go. Some come, then they go, but it's just like kind of this solid 4 to 5 that we have now. I'm like, how many people work there?
Yeah.
And like it's just like back to us again, which is really nice. But yeah, and then I guess over the last 18 months, it's kind of, I don't know, like things just progress, like opportunities arise. And I always make sure that like when a new opportunity comes up or like a new topic is spoken about at work, I will always say like, hey, if that's an option for me to move into that, I want that. Like, or I'll bring it up with Ash and be like, look, I really don't like doing this side of things. If there's someone that can do it better, then I will happily hand it over to them for me to focus in another area. But yeah, like I don't do well here. You can put me somewhere else and get more out of me.
Yeah.
Which there's a difference between complaining about your role and complaining or like voicing that you're not as good at something that somebody else could be.
Identifying strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah. Where
which is
like
fair. It's very self-aware. It takes I
yeah.
think it takes more strength to be able to identify places you may not be great at than it does to sit there and be like, oh no, I can do this. And then you fuck it up. And then you don't do a good job, or you do like a really mediocre job and it's like just enough to push the needle a little bit. But it's like, as you said, if there's someone in the company that can like push that needle 20 times better than you can, and then you go and step into something else, so you're pushing the needle 20 times better, it's like, well, now you're pushing it 40 times rather than just getting ahead.
Exactly. But then there's a difference between being able to say that instead of just complaining about something that's just your job and you're supposed to do it.
Correct. Yes.
Because I'm like, so many people will just be like, I hate this, I hate this, I hate that. I'm like, what's your fucking job?
Yeah.
I don't care. And so, yeah, like I make sure that I'm voicing like how I will thrive better because they're obviously going to get more out of me without it being like complaining or whingy or whatever it might be. But then I knew that my happiness in a job will last longer rather than learning everything I need to know about my role and then getting bored again, because that's what I've always done. And if there's no other progressional opportunity there, then I'm like, okay, well, where do I go next?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's really common. We didn't really touch on it too much, but more of the ADHD stuff. But I was very similar. Like I'd get to a point and then I'm like, what the fuck do I do now? I'm like, I'm bored here. There's nothing really progression. There's nothing pushing my mind. There's nothing ticking along. You've been able to get in with a startup company and identify that like, I want to be in the fitness industry, but I don't want to be a coach, which back then that wasn't really a thing.
No.
Like that was not really, it was pretty much if you wanted to be in the fitness industry, it was you're a PT working at a gym.
Yeah.
Or you were a gym manager doing like fucking selling memberships or some shit. Like there was That was really it. There was
Yeah.
none of this extra like PTs and coaches. There wasn't really coaches back then. PTs didn't have business coaches. PTs didn't have marketing managers. PTs didn't have like virtual assistants. They didn't have any of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's been the biggest shift in the industry that I've seen even is just the amount of freedom, flexibility, and careers that are being created off of the back of this. Like there's that many coaches nowadays who will have assistant coaches, and it offers like people a different opportunity who, as you said, right, like your goal was never to be the owner.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't want to deal with the stress of being fucking the big dog and everybody having to come to you and rely on you, and not even just paying yourself, but like paying them, paying their taxes, paying their super, ensuring they're happy, ensuring this, like keeping the company afloat, like all the shit that Ash has to deal with, which is fucking fine. I think there's, within the world of social media, there's too much of a push for everyone to be like, be your own boss, and you have to leave the rat race and leave the 9 to 5. And it's like, well, if everybody does that, there's not going to be anybody to fucking work in these businesses. And then everybody's going to go back to the rat race anyway, because you can't fucking do anything.
Yeah.
Like if everybody's their own boss, who are you going to get to help you run your company? Yes. You're going to have 1,000 other competitors rather than 100.
Mm-hmm. And it's so weird because also people who want to go out and start their own business, they think that they can't find other people who want to work for them because they think like, well, why wouldn't everybody want to just have their own business? So they think they can't find anybody. But I'm like, people like me exist that don't want to have to fucking deal with that bullshit. Like I could think of nothing worse, to be honest. So yeah, they're out there. Yep. Or like you'll find people who are like starting their own business and then they realize how shit it is and they're like, someone please take me on. I'll work for you, but I don't want to fucking do this anymore.
I definitely believe it's two ways to look at it. It's like people are too focused on like, I have to do this because this is what social media says. It's like if you're happy, like if you're genuinely happy and you love what you fucking do, you get to work hard, you get paid well for what you do, you get your paid time off, you get all this stuff, sick.
Yeah.
Like that's fucking amazing. If you have a good work-life balance, if you get to do the things you want to do, that's fine.
Yeah.
Putting pressure on someone and being like, well, why don't you want to run it yourself? Why don't you never want to work? Like, why don't you want to not have a day off for a month straight and run yourself into the ground sick?
I get to go on holidays. I get to go on holidays and actually be on holidays.
And get paid.
Yeah. Even though I never take it. This is the first week I've taken off in like
doesn't matter. You still
2 years. It's still there for me to take.
Yeah.
But that is because I care. Like I guess that's the difference is because I'm like, no, I'll just work. Like I work longer than I'm supposed to. I do more than I'm supposed to, but it's because I have that thing that I said in my head that I was like, this is a startup business and for it to grow, I do actually need to work hard. So like, even though I do like extra time or I'll log in and quickly do something or like Ash will see me and I'm like in bed sick, but I'm like, I've got my phone. And if I see a message, I'll just quickly reply. And she's like, go away. And I'm like, but like I have the answer.
Yeah. But
it's like, it's because I care, because not that I just want it to work well, but like I need it to work well.
Well, you want it to work well as well, right?
Both.
Like it takes a certain type of person to be able to identify and be like, hey, I don't want to be a boss. I don't want to do that. Don't want to deal with that stress, but I really fucking care about my job. Like you can you don't have to be a boss and still give a fuck about what you do. You don't have to be a boss and still want to work the extra hours. When I was working full-time with this up company, I was there 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, most weeks.
Yeah.
I didn't have to be. My hours were fucking like 8 hours a day was supposed to be, and I was there nearly 12.
Yeah.
It's like I didn't have to do the extra time. I didn't have to hang around. I didn't have to come in early. I didn't have to come in on the weekends. But this is the stuff that people need to be able to do to actually want to get ahead. That offered me more opportunities. I grew within that company so fucking quickly because I was willing to put my hand up and say, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll learn that. I'll do this. I'll take this on. And in the short time, you're kind of like, oh, fuck, I have to sacrifice time or this or whatever the case might be, or I'm maybe not getting paid as much as I want to right now. It's like it pays off long term.
Yeah. And I think it's also a difference in like expectations where like if you're going to put in the extra hours and the hard work, as long as you're working for someone who sees it and rewards it, like that's what you're doing it for. Like I feel like there's a lot of, oh, well, like why was that person put above me? And it's like, okay, well, they're doing all this extra stuff. You're just clocking in and clocking out. And it's like, what was the word I was thinking of before? And it was like,
Forgotten.
It's really annoying me. I hate it when the word is like here.
What was it to do with?
Like people's, their expectations, but like, it's not like vanity. It's not like, like when they think that they deserve something and like entitled.
Yeah.
That's the
Entitlement.
word.
Yeah.
Entitlement. And now I don't know why I was trying to get that word.
People are entitled.
Yeah.
Some people are entitled. They think that just because they clock in and clock out of a company for, let's say 5 years, like you start at 9, you finish at 5 every day.
Yeah.
Someone comes in, they're there for 12 months. They're getting in there at 8, 8:15, 8:30 some days, staying back later, taking on extra shit, helping the powers that be make their life easier. If you can make someone else's life easier, they're probably going to pay you better to do that.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the time in business, the one thing I've learned is that like if you can help someone else, not that you should go into it being like, I'm only helping you to get something out of it.
Yes.
It's like you do these things because that's the standard you hold yourself to. And I think that that's a really big difference is as soon as people start to do it and be like, I'm only doing X to get Y, as soon as Y doesn't occur when they want it to, they become bitter, they become angry, they become annoyed, they become all of these different things. And it's like, well, no, I'm doing X, Y might happen, but for right now, this is the standard I hold myself to. This is what I'm willing to do. This is like the sacrifices I'm willing to make. And even if it doesn't necessarily pay off in that exact moment, right? You probably did stuff when you were working for the gym and he just got rid of you and didn't even give you the decency to talk to you in person. But there's probably shit you were doing there that you were like, well, I'm doing this because this is how I see my standard. This is the standard I set. And that has then allowed you to go into another business and actually set that standard there. And now Ash can acknowledge that and be like, well, good. You're helping me, gonna help you.
Yeah. It's like you win, I win.
Exactly.
So like, why wouldn't I want to put in that work? Because the more you win and the more I help you win, the more like it should come back to me. I don't know when or I don't know if, but like if you have a boss that can see those things, then like it should come back to you in some way.
Yeah. Even if it's experience. I think that's a really undervalued key attribute for life. It's like experience is fucking hard to come by. Mm-hmm. It's like if you can get experience in something, as I said, it may not pay off in that specific role, in that specific job, but you getting fired from the fucking gym turned out to be one of the best things you've ever done. You went and did a random 6-week course and now you're in the position you're in now.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, that never would have happened. Like I got fired from real estate. I started to hate the job and I was like, well, if I get fired, I get paid out. So I just purposely was doing shit work and I was like, well, I got paid out, so whatever.
No, don't fire me.
Oh, fuck. I remember getting fired that day and I walked out, saw my mate and I was like, oh yeah, I got sacked. He's like, oh no, that's so bad. I was like, nah, dude, do you want to go get lunch? Like, let's go have a beer. Let's go do something.
Celebrate.
Let's go.
Freedom.
I'm stoked. But all of these little things, like they make up the mold for your life and they allow you to have these different positions. But they can only occur if you're actually holding yourself to that standard. If you were someone who just clocked in, clocked out, you're just like, sweet. You wouldn't expect much. You're probably not going to grow very far. You might get somewhere. But with your current role, and you haven't, we'll go into that now, because with your current role that you're now doing, and then where you started with Forward Moves, how has that progression been? Like, what do you think was like the biggest driving factor behind getting to the exact role you're in?
I think it's kind of, instead of just focusing on my own job, I watch what everybody else does and says in their fields. So like I was always working pretty much underneath Ash. Like anything that she like told the coach to do or suggestions or feedback or whatever it is, like I take a lot of it in. And then also with the girls in like design and graphics and everything, like I read everything that goes out to them of like, here's the branding concept. This is the why. These are why we've done the colors, like all of that sort of stuff. And I take a lot of it in, and then I am able to like retain a lot of like general information and knowledge. Can't study, but can just remember a lot of random shit, but only when prompted. Like I can't tell you a fun fact off the top of my head, but if we start talking about a topic, I could be like, I have all of this information that you've entered the password.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
unlock it. So yeah, I think the reason why I've grown so much is by listening to the people that know more than me, and then being able to then like be able to not regurgitate because it's not like word for word, and it's not like just copied information from one person to the other, but like it's fitness and it's coaches. People generally ask the same questions, the same as you would get with clients. They ask the same questions. You can just repeat the same information most of the time. So yeah, and then I think I never even guessed that I would be like someone who was like a direct one-to-one, like I'm not an advisor. Like we call me like a specialist because I'm not advising them what to do with their business, but more so to just like give them feedback and be someone that like has been around coaches. I know a lot of the answers to a lot of the questions they're asking. And I guess like it was kind of a surprise when Ash told me, but also she was just like, you know what you're doing. Like you just have to do it. And I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah. And it's been really cool. Like having people like one-on-one to chat to, and I give them suggestions. And it's one of those things that like you don't know what you can think of until you specifically get asked the questions. And then all of a sudden you're like, fuck, I can come up with some cool ideas.
Yeah.
Like, and then you come up with an idea and you say to them and they're like, that's a great idea. And you're like, yes.
Yeah.
So I think it's like those little mini wins all the time that I'm like, I'm really enjoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your current role?
So my current role, I generally manage the build side of things still. So I still manage like a business moves program where we do like kind of everything for you, like setting up the back end of your business and then also like your branding and all that stuff. So I manage it in there and make a lot of like the app and systems and software like suggestions, and then also create those systems and softwares for people. So like how people come through a business. So like from inquiry to onboarding to exit and kind of check-ins and stuff like that in between. This is how you bring someone on. This is how you do all that. This is how they leave, all that sort of stuff. And then on the marketing move side of things, so they come on in a one-to-one aspect. They get a monthly content plan through the team, but then they get a one-on-one chat with me. They do a monthly check-in form. That's how we kind of like update their content plan. And then they also get a monthly call with me and we just talk about like what, like how everything's going, what we kind of want to do, if they have any questions about like their back end or like, systems or ideas or things that they want to work on. It's not so much like business advice though. It's like a general like, okay, like what do you want to do in your content plan? Like, how's it feeling? Is there anything we want to highlight? But is there any problems in the back end that you just need help with? And I'll put together like task lists for them for the month for them to focus on and keep like ticking off and working through. Otherwise they're like, coaches get very stuck in like to-do lists and they just keep everything in their head and they never write anything down. It's like a very common theme that we're like, I'm like, how do you know what you're doing for the month? Or like, what do you need to fix? And they're like, oh, it's just all in my head.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is the weakest system, because how many times do you go, I'll remember that,
And then forget.
and then a week later you're like, there was something I was meant to remember.
Yeah. Yeah. I quite literally before this potty, I had a conversation with one of my clients and we were talking about, he's in the back end of a cut. He's about 4 weeks away from going on holidays. His business is doing well. He's got all these things. And he's like, oh, how do you keep on top of everything? It's like, how do you just continue to do what you need to do? And I was like, well, for one, and I showed him my diary. I was like, I have a to-do list that I've written for myself every single day for 6-7 days a week, forever. I write the same shit every single day. I put things on there when I'm like fresh in the morning and my brain's firing and things are going well. I put the things on there that I know for a fact I'm probably not going to want to do at the end of the day, but I don't stop working until they're done. And for me, I've been writing like, it used to call it critical tasks back when I used to listen to Andy Frisella's MFCEO podcast way, way back in the day, which is what got me to be a PT, which pushed me to do that. And I would write 5 critical tasks every single day. It's like those 5 things I had to do to get the day done and win the day. And I've basically been doing that the entire time for years on end now. So that's probably coming up to nearly 9-10 years of like daily tasks. And he's like, yeah, but how do you keep on top? I was like, you just write it. So write it down. It's like the amount of times I forget shit in my head. Or my favorite thing is now using Siri to just write notes.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a fucking, for me, I'll walk along and I'll have ideas pop in my head and then I'll just be like, oh yeah, cool, I'll remember that. And then I'd never remember it. So now as soon as an idea pops in my head, the first thing I do is whip out my notes and I just brain dump it, or I'll just do voice to text and just spit it out. And then I come home later, look at my computer and I'll be like, oh yeah, cool.
That's all the things I thought about.
Map it out, put it somewhere, like have some record of it.
Yeah.
Because you'll get through the day, you'll forget. It's like the most mundane shit. It's like message X client about Y.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh no, I'll just remember to do that later. And then all of a sudden a day goes by and you're like,
no,
fuck.
Because when you have that thought, your brain ticks it off.
Yeah.
It goes, oh, yep, remember to do that. And your brain goes, well done.
Congratulations.
You remembered it.
It's like Neville. It's like fucking Neville Longbottom with the remember all. He doesn't remember what he's forgotten. Fun fact for everybody at home though, in that scene, he actually forgot his robe. So there you go.
I haven't seen all of it.
That's podcast done, everyone. Welcome. thanks for having us. This one, that's about it. We've had enough.
Fired as a client.
Fuck.
So sorry.
That hurts. That really does. But for those who do know or understand what I'm talking about, yeah, he forgot his robe. That's why his rememberall's flashing red. But anyways, we'll move on from there. But it's exactly that, right? Like it's being able to not just identify what you need to do, but then also creating like a bit of a plan.
Yeah.
Sounds like your whole goal, as you said, is you're not telling these people how to run their business. You're just helping them with systems or helping them like make things a bit easier for themselves. And by releasing like that little bit of extra mental stress, they're able to focus on delivering a better service to their clients. They're able to can make their fucking check-ins more concise and time friendly so they can facilitate having more clients, working less time.
Yeah.
So time is money at the end of the day. If you can get more check-ins done still to a high quality standard in a shorter amount of time, why the fuck wouldn't you?
Yeah. And literally that's like one of the biggest things as well is because like systems and software platforms, all that sort of thing is like my jam. When they come on board, I get them to give me a full breakdown of like, okay, what platforms are you using? How are you running everything? How are you doing your check-ins? Like, how is this all being processed? Okay, where can we make it better? Do you want to change apps? And so I had a client come on board. She had even been through the whole Business Moves program with us, decided on an app, now doesn't like the app. We've just moved her completely from one app to another. And she was like, Keira, what do I do with my free time? She was like, that was a fucked few weeks of getting everything moved over. She was like, that was a slog. But she was like, I'm getting to the afternoons and I don't know what to do with myself. Even her partner was like, you seem really like carefree lately. Like after everything changed and moved over. And she was like, yeah. She's like, I just feel lighter. So that was awesome. Really nice. And kind of just like having someone to talk to. Like sometimes they'll send me a post and they'll go, something's just not right. Or like, can you have a look at this video? Like sometimes it's people who are really nervous to post like a talking reel or a post or whatever it is. And they'll go, can you just give me the confirmation that I need that this looks fine?
Yeah.
And I'll be like, yeah, it looks fantastic. What are you talking about? And they're like, okay, great. Like just needed that support.
That
like,
reassurance.
The reassurance, like in a solo business owning world, it's very lonely and you don't really have anyone to talk to. And I have to like remind them that like, hey, you can actually message me just to like check in if you've got anything that you want to talk about or whatever, like you can just use the chat for that. So yeah, it's been really nice that like I get the feedback of I'll just message someone and be like, how are you doing? Like, how's your back? Because they are like injured or whatever it is. And they're like, thank you so much for asking. And I'm like, I'm the coach's coach. I'm like, I want to check in on the coach because you're always checking in on other people. No one's ever checking in on you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that aspect of it as well. So it's kind of just like a support person in your business essentially.
Yeah. And I love that because again, as you said, like it's a very solo endeavor. And I have this chat with Jess, my partner, and we'll just FaceTime.
Sorry, it sounds so weird that you say that out loud now.
You love that? Shout out Jess, you'll listen to this.
Another fun fact, you guys met through the podcast episode that you came on.
We did, yeah. I haven't really spoken about that, but there you go.
Sorry, but
Public.
Well, it's kind of how you found out about each other's existence.
It is, yeah. Well, no, she stalked me. Just want to point that out there. So slid my DMs, not the other way around. But we will just like, so she works with a team. She works within a team. So she has people to just, hey, what do you think of this? Or like all the time, they'll just be messaging each other and back and forth and be like, how's your day been? How's this week? I know this week's been a bit more stressful for you. How's things tracking? Like blah, blah, blah. Can I help in any way? All this sort of stuff. And for me, it's like, I've gone from working in a team where that was a thing to just like on my own. And I'm like, holy fuck, it can be really lonely.
Yeah.
It's like if you're stressed and you don't really know what to do, you can ask ChatGPT. You can ask people who've maybe done it. But like a lot of the time as coaches, we do get caught up in that, like we're always checking in on others. We're seeing how they're doing. We know what they're going on with their life. And oftentimes, for better or for worse, they don't necessarily know what's going on in our life. And it's not a client's role to check in with a coach. I'm very fortunate that I have great clients who do check in with me and they're like, how's this been? How's Sammy? How's work? How's the sub company going? Like all these other things. And I love that, but it's not an expectation I have for my clients. It's not their responsibility. So having somebody there to be like, what is this? What do you think of this? How does this look? Or just like talk to about business stuff has been so fucking good, because otherwise it can get very lonely. And I understand why a lot of coaches will burn out, or they end up finding like they're playing a game of snake and they're just constantly trying to avoid their own tail. And then eventually they catch it. And it's like, well, now we're fucked because we're burnt out. We've got nothing left to give. We hate our job. We hate this. We hate that. And they're not being as probably productive as they can be. And they're just back out on their own.
Yeah. And it's one of those things too. Why does this keep happening to me? Because I'm patiently waiting till the end of someone's sentence before jumping in.
Yeah, I like it. It's good.
I was going to say, no, it is there. That's it. When you do want to ask a question about business, or you want to talk about your day or whatever it might be, if you don't have someone who doesn't understand the world that you're in, you don't want to have to give a 20-minute explanation of the story before you tell the story so that they can understand and give you support or help you with an answer. Yep. Like you just want to be like, oh, blah, 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 and then be like, yep.
Yep.
And just get it out quickly or vent or whatever it might be, instead of someone who has no fucking idea what you're talking about.
Yep.
Like, yeah, training apps. Yeah, cool. Check it. Yeah. Lagging. Glitch. And they're like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Difficult client.
Yeah.
It's like dealing with someone who's dealing with something, and it's like takes a toll, because we take on a lot as coaches. It's like being able to articulate and say, dealing with a difficult client at this point in time, that's not bad mouthing them. It's not talking bad about them. It's just like, hey, this is what I'm dealing with a client. It's like other coaches get that.
Yeah.
They understand that you're not chatting shit about a client.
Yes.
They're like, yes, I can understand that. Here's what I've done in the past, or this is what's helped me. Or sometimes it's just being there to listen.
Yeah.
And understand, as you said, without having to be like, okay, so like, just so you know, like I don't dislike this person, but this is happening with this. It's like,
give a disclaimer.
And then you just can't be bothered. You're just like, fuck this.
Like,
I just can't be bothered anymore. You know what? I'm done here. I've had enough.
Yeah. To either just like vent, or to be like, hey, this client just shared something really heavy with me. Like I just need to like share it on with somebody else so I can like, not to like put it onto them, but like I just need the weight taken off a little bit, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I've said this to you before, but like my friend on a podcast said, a problem shared is a problem halved. And I've always loved that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it's true. And it's like, it can be hard because you said like we can have so many different clients going through so many different things. Some clients, and this was the biggest thing for me when I was a PT, this was before I even had any ability to like emotionally regulate myself at all. And you'd have a client who comes in and they're having the best fucking day of their life. It is the best day they've ever had. And then you have a client come in and it's like the worst day they've ever had. And you have to find a way to balance both of those things, and you take on all of that.
Yeah.
And like you can be going through your own stuff as well. But you know, you'll go through breakups, or there'll be things that are happening on the back end, or whatever might be happening. And you kind of have to put that aside to then take on whatever the client's dealing, and then you don't really have anywhere to go. And I think that that's why working with a psychologist is a fucking phenomenal thing. I think everybody should do it. But just having like a support network around you that gets it and can actually be able to do that. And in your sense, it's like a business coach. You're not necessarily coaching them on how to do their business, but you're just there as a friend. You're just there to support them. If that person is having a tough day because like their fucking content's not hitting, and now all of a sudden they're a little bit down in income or whatever the case might be, it's like them being able to come to you and say that is better than them having to internalize it, and then they spiral. Like, oh, well, it's down, so now I'm not making money, and now this is happening, and now like, what's the fucking point? And X, Y, Z. It's like, okay, cool. Come to you, have a chat. Hey, this content hasn't been hitting over the last couple of weeks. What are we going to do in terms of a plan of attack? You guys sit down, create a plan. All of a sudden, they're like, oh, fuck, awesome.
Yeah.
There's a plan out of this.
Weirdly is like how I've kind of always been in real life. So like there's a thing with my sisters that like, so my older sister, if she wants help and like a plan or like realism or to be like, okay, well, if that happens, what's the worst that can come out of that? Okay, great. So that's happened. Now what are we going to do? Like kind of a plan. And then the middle sister is like cry on her shoulder, be upset kind of thing, where I'm like, okay, well, that's just actually not going to happen. So this is what we're going to do instead.
Bit of tough love.
Yeah, but like realistic, like especially if people are overthinking, like everyone overthinks everything. And not to say like I don't overthink, I probably overthink things that don't matter, not matter, because like most of the things people overthink don't matter, but like I overthink dumb shit that is like, why am I replaying this conversation in my head that like wasn't even a bad experience, and I'm just thinking about the conversation where other people are thinking like, and it's just like piling and spiraling and all of that stuff, where like I think I'm very good at stopping spirals.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what Ash has also said to me as well. She's like, you're good because you can be like, well, I play devil's advocate a lot as well and be like, okay, well, like, let's think about if they're coming from this aspect and blah, 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 and all that stuff. So I think that's been very helpful in the new role, because like a coach might start spiraling and I'll be like, whoa up, like pump the brakes. Like this has happened, not this. Like, so you've just gone from this far down and you've made it into this, but that hasn't even happened yet. So like, let's just go back to here and sort the problem out now, because you're making a way bigger deal of this than you need to.
Yeah, your reel got less views, so now you drop clients and now you're about to be homeless.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Shit spiraled
like,
fast.
Okay.
Well, we got there really quickly.
Where even like one of the clients, she was like, oh, I get up to this number and then I come back down and then I get back up to the number again and blah, blah, blah. And then, so I was on a call with her and I was like, how many do you have in each of your like tiers? And then she explained like where people were. And I was like, okay, so you actually, when you started with me, you dropped off a couple of people, but you dropped off the lower package and you've had new people come in on your higher package. So it's like, so even though your numbers are back the same, your income's different. So I was like, so stop focusing on the number of clients, because now you've got better quality clients.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, that's fantastic. And I'm like, there you go.
Yep.
So like, yeah, it is one of those things of like vanity metrics, whatever you want to call it, but like being able to look into things like a little bit further.
Yeah.
Without death spiraling.
Yeah, and that was definitely something that I used to get caught up in quite a lot, and that Ash made me rechange and reframe my mind around. Was I'd be like, oh, my views are down, my likes are down, this all shit, everything's fucking collapsing. And she's like, yeah, but you've nearly doubled your clients and your saves and your shares and this are up, and like your like fucking link taps are up and this and X. And it's like looking at all these other different metrics that I've never even looked at in my life before this. And I'm like, oh, like, yeah, you know what? You're right. Like that actually makes way more sense.
Yeah.
Like,
because you're so emotionally invested, everything is triggering.
Yeah.
Where like if you can have that like person looking in, or like just person to talk to or explain it to, that can look from the outside in, like even a friend or like your partner or whatever it might be, and you could be like, oh, this happened, and then they're able to be like, well, hang on a second, and it's just like really nice to be able to have that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah.
And with that, so you mentioned before, when you left your previous ex, you had a lot of personal growth.
Yes.
And anybody who's listened to this podcast before knows the amount of personal growth I had after going through a breakup, fucking roughly 12 months ago. And even just since you and I worked with each other from February, I've seen like a massive amount of growth within you from like personal, professional, training, like all of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know for like at least the last few weeks, you've probably started to see that more in yourself, more in the last probably 2, 3, 4 weeks, roughly, than like the whole time that we've been working together. So I want to dive in a little bit more on that aspect of things because, again, similar thing, like everybody can be like, oh yeah, I progressed through the business and I did this and I did that. And it's like, great. From a business standpoint, we know what you've done. We know how you've gotten there. We know, but a lot of the time people don't understand that like from a personal standpoint, you have to progress and grow. And how do you think, even if you look back to the last like 12 months from a personal standpoint to now, how do you think the growth that you've experienced through that has both helped like professionally and just also with other aspects of your life?
I think there's a big difference between like the growth that you have on your own and then the growth that you have with a better partner. Like you can grow so much on your own, but it's also crazy how much you can grow personally, like when you have a relationship that's supportive and loving and caring and like somebody who actually genuinely wants to see you win as well. And I think that's been a really big change because like we got to like August last year as well. So yeah, that's been really cool of like having someone in your corner that like also wants to see you win and then like supports you through everything. And then I guess just like kind of low-key forgot the question.
It's more just about personal growth.
All right. I guess like I don't know, what have I even done?
I'll segue because I'll give you a rundown as to where I'm wanting to lead with this.
Yeah, I was like, ugh.
Since I first met you, you weren't short of confidence.
No.
But I've said it to you multiple times more recently. I've seen you grow more in confidence in the last probably month to 6 weeks, just tenfold. And it's not from a vain perspective. It's from a like self-belief. And I think a lot of people miss the mark when they think of like growth and all of this sort of stuff. They don't understand how powerful self-belief builds from just doing the fucking things you know you need to do. It's like you've said to me a few times over the last little bit, you're like, oh, I made a more conscious effort to stick to my food. When I did my training sessions, I went away on the weekend and I took a majority of my food. I only had one meal out. Previously, I would have gone and probably had the whole weekend out and fucking eaten and all this sort of stuff. And you know yourself that in that moment, if you had gone for that weekend away and just eaten all the meals, you would have felt fucking great. But then for the next like 2, 3 weeks, you probably would have been down on yourself, even from a subconscious level.
Yeah.
Whereas consciously being like, I have a goal that I'm working towards. That's something 12 months ago you probably would never have even thought you'd fucking be doing. No. Turf games this weekend.
Yeah.
Like doing that and then the little bit of belief that builds, you're like, oh, okay, cool. Well, I actually feel way better. I'm still ticking my goals. I still got to enjoy time with my family and friends. I still got to do X. I still got to do Y. Like I'm doing all of these things and I still feel good about myself. I still feel confident. And then those little bits of like self-belief and confidence grow and grow and grow. And then they push you to be able to be like, put yourself in situations. I know with your more recent sort of promotion, you were kind of at a point where you were like, I want this. Like, this is the role I want and this is how I'm going to get it. And like, when I spoke to Ash and like, hey, can I do X? And it's like, well, yeah, you fucking can. But if you hadn't been able to have this like stack of fucking wins that showcase to yourself that you were like, I can do the hard thing. I can do this shit. Like it's easy to do this shit now.
And it's one of those things that like you say to yourself like, okay, I'm going to stay on track all weekend. And then you don't. And then you beat yourself up after it. But then when you say to yourself like, I'm going to stay on track all weekend, and then you do, your body and your brain, like, I don't know, it's like this, you did it, like you won kind of thing. And your brain is like, oh yeah, you can do that. Like, and you did it and you stuck to it and you feel so rewarded for doing it.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, confirmation of like, you can do that thing and you didn't cave into like whatever craving that you had. Like that initial like fight or flight or whatever it might be, where like you're on a run and you're like, you should just stop. And I'm like, does that ever go away, by the way? Or like,
No.
Okay, great.
Well, somewhat, but the only thing I've ever worked out from any perspective, if that starts to kick in, and this is something, again, probably more so recently than like previous, when that started to kick in, I'm like, all right, cool, now I get to do extra.
Yeah, okay.
It's like the other week, last week, literally, I put up a story talking about how I'd had a fucking massive day, was nearly 12 hours on the computer, was dog shit tired by the end of it, didn't want to bar of going to the gym, but I wrote down I needed to do cardio and sauna. Yeah. Previously, I would have just been like, fuck, I'll just do it tomorrow. It's fine. Like, whatever, who cares? No one's going to know. But I knew.
Yeah.
And so then I went to hello, Samuel. Hey, you've decided to wake up, have you, buddy? When I went in there, it was like previously I had just written down 15 minutes cardio, 15 minutes sauna. And then when I got there, I was like, no. Now we're doing 20 and 20. Mm-hmm. It's like, because it's not just, it's a win sometimes to just turn up. But if you want to silence that voice more, it's like, do further.
Yeah.
Your friend Beck put up a story the other week about running. And she was like, I just set out to do 4Ks. And she ended up running 7 or something like that. And I saw that story and I knew that week I had to go for my first run since fucking wrapping up footy. And originally I wrote down run 2Ks on my tasks. And I was like, all right, cool. And I just started running. And I was like, oh, I feel okay. I got nearly 2Ks. I was like, oh, let's go 3. And then I was like, well, 3 is pretty much 4. So I may as well do 4. And then I was like, well, no, why would I not want to run 5? So I got my 5 and I ended up having to do fucking laps of the street just to get my 5 kilometers. But it was one of those things that like originally I'd set out to do 2. And no one would have known if I didn't fucking do it. Not a single person, but I would have. And I would have probably beat myself up about it. So even at a subconscious level, being like, well, if I can't trust what I say to myself, how can I trust what other people say? How can I trust all these other things that are occurring? So the person that you need to show up for yourself better than others are showing up for you so that other people will show up better for you in turn.
Yeah.
And building that self-belief and building that self-confidence comes from the most like minute shit. It's like, hello, Samuel. If you say you're going to stick to your food, stick to your food.
Yeah. And it's one of those things too that like how you show up in one way is how you show up in every way.
Yeah.
So if
he normally wakes up at the back end of the potties and wants to come and get involved. Come on, come here.
So yeah, if you show up well in one way, then you're going to continue to show up that way because you become that person. It's like how like when I got my new car and I was like, I'm someone who has a clean car. And so then I had to stick to that because I was like, well, everyone knows you have a clean car. So you have to have a clean car for when people get into it. Right now it's a mess. Don't look at it. Well, the outside, the inside's fine. But so like, I guess it's one of those things to be like, well, I'm going to tell you that I'm going to go for my run. And I'm someone who sticks by what I say. So I will be going for that run and I will be getting it done.
Yep.
And I guess it's just like, if you keep showing up in all your different aspects of like, I eat what I'm meant to eat and I stick to the plan, then you do it. Then you feel really accomplished. And then you just want to keep being an accomplished person. And then it will flow into every other aspect of like, okay, well, I'm going to be a good partner. So you show up as a good partner. Yep. Like, it's just one of those things that, I don't know, do you have to genuinely like care as a human being to want to show up for all of those things? But that's probably another whole different rabbit hole. But yeah, it's definitely been one of those things, like a year of like, okay, well, I'm just going to do the thing and then keep doing the thing.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there's been a lot of change. And I think it was one of the things that you said to me a while ago was like, even though you don't actively take in what you're seeing on social media, like being in the health and fitness world, subliminally and subconsciously, you are comparing yourself to others. And I know when we started, like I would have one good check-in, one bad check-in. Like it would flip-flop between both of them. Maybe it's wherever the cycle was at also. Not steroids. Female cycle, guys. But
periods.
It always... all the men just...
menstrual cycles. If you're a male coach and you are not asking your female clients about their cycle, you are doing them a disservice.
Also, if you're
it's not that fucking difficult.
If you're a female client not telling your male coach where you're at in your cycle, also not helpful for your coach.
Yeah, it helps.
It's not awkward.
No. I ask my clients the consistency of their poo. Fucking periods aren't a problem.
That's like in that check-in one time where I was like, Oh, probably TMI, and you're like, not TMI.
It's literally the question I ask.
Anyway, so yeah, that was probably a big change, is that like just having that reminder of taking things in subconsciously and then being able to like bring yourself outside of that and not like try and get out of that as much as possible. And I think that's something I wanted to touch on too, is I did like my bodybuilding shows. I did 2 bodybuilding comp preps. Loved doing them. I'll never do one again. But like something that I've noticed lately is people being like, I knew I had a good relationship with food and with myself. Like I knew I'd be fine. Like, so I'm going to do a bodybuilding comp. Just because you have a good relationship with food and a good relationship with yourself, it will never be the same again. And I think it's becoming very normalized to do bodybuilding comps. Like it's becoming so normal, but it's really messing people up after. And like, there's a good way to do it. You can do it healthily. That's in quotation marks because it's not healthy.
It's not a healthy endeavor.
It's not healthy ever. There's better ways to do it. But for people to think like, but I'm good, so I can do one. Your brain will never see anything the same, like ever again. Like you'll never see yourself the same. You'll never see food the same again. You are heavily 100% food focused for a good 20, like half of the year, 20 weeks, half of the year, whatever it is. And like, that's something that like, I'm so glad I did it, but it has forever changed my brain of like how you see yourself. And even though people have asked before, like, oh, like, are you going to compete and do a bodybuilding comp again? I'm like, I never want to see myself that small again because I want to get that further out of my memories so I don't compare how I look now to how I looked then, even just like from what you see directly in the mirror, because it's a mind fuck. Like to see yourself that small and then like to see myself the size I am now, I look and I'm like, pretty large. Like some days better than others, of course, for everybody. But like, and then you see other people and you're like, well, they look great. And I'm pretty sure they're a similar size to me. And I think they look fantastic. So you're like, man, like it really does mess with your brain.
Yeah, it skews your perception. And I know we spoke about it and then that inspired me to do a post. And I know you guys have even spoken about it in the podcast yourselves and things like that. That subconscious identification that like, and it happens for men too, fucking body dysmorphia through the roof.
Probably more the like opposite.
Like it's
ways,
like see jacked dudes rolling around 24/7 with fucking abs and like all this shit, and you're just like, why the fuck can't I have that? And
how are they doing that 24/7?
And then you work out they starving themselves or they're pumped full of peds or some other shit, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. Well, I'm not willing to do that. So like, the what's seen as normal is like very skewed in the fitness industry, and trying to then. I've seen myself lean. I've seen myself large. Funnily enough, I'm putting together a post that's essentially like Josh through the ages from like where I started to now and things like that.
Oh my
because
gosh,
it's
like I should do one.
Fucking well, yeah, you can copy my theme.
Yeah.
You can run through it. And it's more or less to highlight like if you're constantly chasing like I want to be leaner or I want to be bigger or I want to be fitter or I want to be this, I want to be that, you're always going to then have a deficit somewhere else. It's like in the pursuit of getting bigger, you're probably not going to be your leanest. In the pursuit of getting stronger, you're probably not going to be your leanest. It's about finding like happiness with where you are and the things that you're achieving. And as you said, like the more you tick the boxes in one area of your life, the more that self-belief starts to build. And then you can start to tick the boxes in other areas of your life. So if you want to show up better as a partner, if you want to show up better as a boss, if you want to show up better as an employee or a worker or a friend, a family member, whatever the case might be, it starts from just doing the things you say you're going to do. And then that self-belief will build within yourself. And then you're able to show up better for others. And that's something I'm really, really big on is like showing up for yourself to then show up better for other people. Because too often people have it flipped and they're like, oh, I need to show up for this person to my own detriment.
Mm-hmm.
And then whether they think about it or they don't, at a subconscious level, that's where things like resentment start to build. It's where like anger, frustration, annoyance, and all of a sudden you're yelling at the little old lady who cut you off in the fucking car because you're pissed off about some other situation that happened fucking 2 days ago, but you haven't actually been able to like verbalize it or say it, and it's like internalized and you're just trying to get through it. And the more that you can like show up for yourself and then better show up for others, it's like just has this really well-round effect. It's like rising tide lifts all ships. You said yourself that the better you show up at work, the better the company does as a whole, more opportunities can be provided, not just for you, but for Ash and for everybody else who works around you. It's like now all the girls around you, they're in better positions. They've got more experience. They get to go and do these things, whether they stay with the company or whether they go somewhere else. It's like progressions. But everybody's had that because you've been able to do your role in the team. And you've had that because you've been able to show up better for yourself. And you've like fucking built all this like self-confidence, self-belief. And then you get to a point where you're just like, fuck, I can do that.
Yeah.
And you've got all these wins on the board. It's like something hard comes up. You're like, oh, fuck, that's easy. I've done hard shit before. I've done a bodybuilding show. Hated it. I've gone and done fucking, you're going to go.
Hey, I love the days.
Love the day.
Like after
the fact. But like, you know, you're going to go and do turf games this weekend.
Yeah.
Probably something you never would have thought you were going to do.
No.
A little hybrid event.
Yeah.
I remember when we first started and I was like, oh, I'm going to get you to do a bit of powerlifting stuff. And you were just like, no, I don't really want, I'm happy to do strength and this, that. And then we started doing it and you're like building all this confidence and lifting heavy weights and like, it just became a normal thing.
Yeah.
But it all just starts with just the little things you say you're going to do. And then build. And then build upon that and continue to build forever and ever.
Forever and ever and ever.
It's a journey. It was something I was talking about with Trav. I hate the term life coach, but the coach that I'm working with at the moment to work through, it's like an all-in thing, business, life. It's more emotionally based, more of the spiritual woo-woo stuff. I've had him on the potty before. And I identified that like when I first started with him, anything that I considered like a bigger win, I would take to him. You know, you celebrate that. That's what a point of having a coach or someone there to support you. So you take it to them and it's like, fuck yeah, you guys can celebrate together. Gives you that little bit of like dopamine and you continue on. And I noticed that in like within the third or fourth week, I stopped taking things to him and he kind of identified it. And I was like, I haven't kept bringing you things because they're no longer big wins. They're just the normal. They're just the new normal. And in that moment, I was like, holy fuck, like I've leveled up where something that a couple of weeks ago, I would have been like, oh, fuck yeah, this is sick. Like I've done X. It's just, oh yeah, cool. That's how I am. That's how I do these things. And that building that self-belief. It's like seeing that in you as well, like seeing your self-belief grow and to the point where you're just kind of like, oh yeah, it's just something I do. It's just how I am as a person.
Yeah.
It's the shit I do.
It's just what I do.
Exactly. Owning it and continuing to... Sad boy hours.
Yeah. Yeah, but then I did that post yesterday and it was like got the compliment of someone asked me if I was a powerlifting competitor. And then I got too many likes on my story and I was like, fuck, I'm going to have to. And then funnily enough, Jess messaged me.
I was about to say that. She said that she was...
She was like, oh, yep, you should. And we'll do the same comp. Okay, great. I was like, oh, okay.
Perfect. See? Peer pressure. That's what we do.
Yeah. Peer pressure for good things.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Positive things.
Pushing
you out of your comfort zone to be better.
Yeah, exactly. But that is one of the things though, how you were talking about before, that like when you show up better for yourself, you show up better for others. So that was one of the big personal changes that I had when I was no longer with my ex. My sister said something to me and she was like, your light is back. She was like, you are doing things for you and you're not doing it for other people and you're not like putting yourself second and you're not making sure somebody else is happy over yours and you're being put second. And she was like, you are just doing things that make you happy and then that makes you turn up better for everybody else because you're just generally a better human. You're not sitting around like being sad. And like, I'm not normally that person anyway, but like the people closest to you can tell.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so I think it's very important to like always make sure that you are first, and whether that be called selfish or whatever it is, like you should be selfish. Like I love being selfish. Like
Thank you.
I love being selfish and I love being a little bit cocky, and I think more people should without being arrogant.
There's a huge difference between confidence and cockiness.
Yeah.
And there's a huge difference between confidence and arrogance. And I think that that's where oftentimes it's people who don't do the things they say they're going to do. They project a little bit and they get a bit bitter and then they put it out on you. They're like, oh, you're being arrogant. It's like, nah, motherfucker, I have fucking won. I have stacked win on win on win on the hard days, on the good days, on the worst days of my life. Like you stack these wins and you have the confidence. Once you have that confidence and that self-belief, You can be confident. You can be motivated. You will do all of these things. But it comes from a point of like, you have to be selfish.
Yeah.
And I say this to people. I'm like, being selfish isn't selfish.
No.
It's actually the best thing you can possibly do for other people is to be selfish.
Mm-hmm.
Within reason. Don't,
Yeah.
you know, there's obviously negative aspects of those sort of things too, but like, show off yourself.
Yeah. Like you can be selfish without it being an effect to other
You can
people.
be selfish without being self-centered.
Yes.
I think that there's a little bit of a differentiation between the two. Self-centered is like you are only caring about yourself, whereas like being selfish means that you care so much for others that you want to show up better as an individual for yourself so that you can then show up better for them.
Yeah. That's like even my sister said something to me. She felt bad because she I think she went and got like her hair done. So it made her like later to pick up my niece from daycare. And she was like, I felt so bad that she had to wait like an extra 30 minutes. And it's so selfish because it was to get my hair done. And I was like, how much did you enjoy being in that chair and having your hair done? Like, how much happier were you like when you had it done and you felt nice and you did something for you? I was like, she's in capable hands at the daycare. She's happy. She's playing. She's doing whatever. I was like, but if that makes you in a better mood, how much of a better mood are you going to be in to show up for her later that day?
Yeah.
Like instead of I never get to do anything for myself because X, like you were saying, like you start to resent things.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, I got to do this for myself, which means like I get to be in a better mood for my daughter or my partner or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. I fucking love that. I think that is a nice little end segment.
Yeah.
I got a few questions. This is going to be the longest potty I've done so far.
We're not surprised.
No, I'm not. I was very much expecting that to be the case. So the 3 questions, you already know what they are. You've heard it before because you've listened to the podcast. But first things first, if you could tell your younger self one thing, what would it be? Putting you on the spot again.
I would tell her that I feel like everyone always goes for like, I don't know, like it sounds so cliche to just like, you're going to be okay. Like, actually, no, you will eventually love yourself more. Yeah, that's probably something I would tell her. Like, I don't even know if this is going to make me emotional. I used to genuinely look in the mirror and be like, you're disgusting. Like, hate myself. And so I would tell her that like one day she will love herself.
I think that's beautiful. It, again, I think it also lines up really, really nicely with what we were just talking about is like you eventually start to love things about yourself because you can confidently say you know how to do things. You can win. You can stack wins. You can do the things that you say you're going to do. And then other arbitrary things start to become obsolete. You're just like...
Yeah. Like instead of just looking at myself.
From an aesthetics perspective.
From aesthetics, it's like you can fucking go to the gym and lift heavy shit and like you are a really good friend. Like a compliment you get from people is I like being around your energy. You help bring the mood up. Like those sort of things will make you love yourself more than any other physical attribute. I love this trend that's going around that's like you will never say when somebody leaves the room, it's not like you bring up anything or like, oh, I loved her shoulder. Like, you know, okay, no, it's like when somebody dies, theoretically, no one's sitting there going like, oh, she had great shoulders. Like, oh, I loved that she was a size 8.
Yeah.
Like, that's not the things that people are saying when you're gone.
Yeah.
It's how you make people feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fucking cool. Yeah. I like that. I really like that a lot, actually. I like how I ask the same questions, but I'd forget them myself. Your favorite animal?
I have always said that like my spirit animal is a wolf.
Okay.
But I also really like platypus.
Okay. There's a bit of a difference between the two.
So like wolf is very like solo animal but does well in a pack where like I think I'm good at being both. So I really like wolves in that way. It's like spirit animal vibes. And then I don't know, randomly platypus just like show up randomly and I think they're quite like a spiritually animal kind of thing. But like they randomly show up of like a picture of one randomly like comp day platypus was like on a truck like driving past. And
Okay.
like, yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
Platypuses.
Yeah.
Or platypi,
They're
I think. is
platypi?
plural. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know, they're very cool.
All right, sick. I like it. I'm not against it. I think, whatever works.
Yeah.
Everyone gives that's the most random animal I have had. And then last but not least, what does strength mean to you?
Strength to me would be showing up as your best possible self and then always wanting to improve on that. So whether that be in any aspect, like even if it's in the gym and you want to just like be strong in the gym, cool. But like whether that be you're a mum and you had a really bad day, but you showed up as the best possible you could, but then showing up better the next time that thing happens, and like always just doing a little bit better.
Yep. Stack of wins.
Yeah.
Good. I like that. There we go. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate that. You
Thanks
did
for
well.
having me.
See what happens when you just talk.
Yeah.
And it just
Once I
goes.
get going, I'm fine.
Yeah, exactly. So for those of you who are listening, would you like to tell people where they can find you?
Yeah.
First and foremost.
So my personal Instagram is Keiwa. I'll spell it because nobody knows how to spell Keira. It's Keiwa for my Instagram handle, but like RA normally. But like, yeah, nobody gets it right. And then Forward Moves is where I work, and we have the Forward Moves podcast, which is on all channels.
It is. Go listen to it. It's really fucking cool. And I'm on there too, so you can listen to me more if you really want. Or you don't have to.
You have to
I fucking wouldn't.
Scroll a little bit back.
A little bit now. You guys
Was
are
it-
pumping them out.
Yeah.
Could have been February.
We've had like some breaks, but yeah, about Feb.
Yeah.
Was yours.
I'll put all that in the show notes regardless. Put up a post, and then you'll be able to find Keira. You'll be able to find Forward Moves. You'll be able to find the team. As always, I appreciate everyone who listens. Thank you very much. Hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll speak to you again soon. Ooh, fuck.